During World War II, the battlefield was not confined to foreign soils or military fronts. It extended deep into the hearts and homes of civilian populations, where governments quickly discovered that controlling human behavior under extreme stress was as critical to victory as tanks and bombs. From ration books clipped at corner stores to air raid drills drilled into school children, wartime authorities learned lessons about obedience, scarcity and resource management that still echo today. For serious history buffs and survivalist enthusiasts, understanding these lessons is more than academic. It provides insight into human behavior under pressure and strategies that can be applied in modern survival planning. Governments realized scarcity could be weaponized to maintain order. One of the most striking lessons from World War II was how scarcity could be strategically managed to influence civilian behavior. Britain, under the threat of German blockade, implemented strict rationing systems that affected everything from sugar and meat to clothing and fuel. But rationing was not just about fairness. It was about controlling panic and ensuring compliance. By issuing ration books with strict limits and carefully calibrated distribution schedules, the British government created a predictable scarcity. People obeyed not only because they had to, but because the system communicated trustworthiness and structure. For preppers and survivalists today, this translates into a practical principle. Structured scarcity can prevent chaos. In any crisis scenario, whether economic collapse or supply chain disruption, managing limited resources deliberately and transparently reduces panic and encourages collective compliance. This could be as simple as setting clear personal ration limits, pre-packaging emergency supplies, or creating community agreements about resource sharing. Propaganda proved civilian obedience could be engineered. World War II governments also demonstrated that obedience was not just about rules, it was about belief. Posters, radio broadcasts and newsreels were carefully designed to instill a sense of duty, fear or pride. In Germany, the Nazi regime's propaganda machine went beyond motivating soldiers. It instructed citizens on rationing, air raid procedures and even denouncing neighbours. Similarly, the Allies used media to reinforce shared sacrifice, urging civilians to recycle materials, grow victory gardens, and endure bombings with stoic resolve. The lesson for modern-day survival planning is subtle but vital. Information shapes behaviour. Controlling what people know and framing it in ways that create trust and shared purpose encourages compliance and reduces chaos. Whether you're preparing your family for an emergency or coordinating a survival community, clear messaging about what to do, why it matters, and how it helps the group can dramatically improve adherence to plans. Governments monitored civilians to enforce compliance. Surveillance and monitoring were another practical lesson of the Second World War. Governments used checkpoints, neighbourhood reporting systems and data collection to ensure civilians adhered to rationing rules and blackout regulations. In the United Kingdom, the Ministry of Food relied on inspectors to check shops and homes for violations, while in occupied territories, authorities used more coercive tactics to enforce obedience. For preppers, the takeaway is less sinister and more pragmatic. Oversight and accountability work. Creating simple systems to track your supplies, maintain inventories, and enforce personal or community rules reduces errors and strengthens resilience. A small notebook detailing consumption rates or a digital log for shared resources can prevent shortages from turning into crises. WWII showed that civilian obedience is rarely maintained by rules alone. It's a balance between fear of consequences and hope for the future. Blackouts, bombings and scarcity created fear, but governments countered this with rewards, public recognition and messaging emphasizing the importance of enduring for a collective good. In occupied France, for example, citizens complied with curfews and rationing not only out of fear of punishment, but out of hope that adherence would preserve their community and eventual liberation. In practical terms for today, this dual approach is invaluable. When preparing for emergencies, combine cautionary awareness with positive incentives. Encourage preparedness by highlighting the benefits, security, stability and self-reliance, while making clear the risks of neglect. This psychological balancing act strengthens resolve and reduces panic when resources are stretched thin. Finally, WWII demonstrated that humans are astonishingly resourceful when scarcity is structured but predictable. Victory gardens, homemade substitutes for coffee and meat, and neighborhood bartering networks emerged organically, guided by government frameworks but fueled by civilian ingenuity. Authorities recognized that when citizens had clear rules and limited resources, creativity flourished. For survivalists today, this is a direct blueprint. Combine scarcity management with creative problem-solving. Stockpiling is important, but, knowing how to repurpose, recycle, and innovate with limited resources is equally critical. Learning to grow your own food, build energy-efficient systems, or create barter networks ensures that structured scarcity translates into resilience rather than despair. Understanding what World War II taught governments about obedience and scarcity isn't just historical trivia, it's actionable intelligence. Preppers and historians can apply these lessons by creating structured resource plans, communicating clearly with their households or communities, tracking compliance and consumption, and fostering both innovation and psychological resilience. Even small steps like rationing water, implementing regular drills, or organizing neighborhood skill swaps reflect wartime lessons that proved effective in keeping millions alive and functional under extreme stress. The Second World War offers a masterclass in managing human behavior during scarcity. Governments learned to combine structure, messaging, oversight, fear, hope and innovation to maintain order. Today, by studying these lessons, anyone interested in history or survival can gain a strategic edge in preparing for crises. If you found this guide valuable and want to dive deeper into the untold strategies of history that can prepare you for the modern world, subscribe to The Prepper Historian. Share this video with fellow enthusiasts and join a community committed to learning from the past to survive the future.